Hey guys, I'm Daniel from Consider Tech. This is the Apple event from September, and I know I'm really late because it's October. The Apple event from October just came out, but we've had a lot of technical issues with the phone that we're using. We had to use a phone because the cloud got corrupted all of our videos. Now, we're finally giving you this video. Okay, so starting off with the Apple Watch Series 6. So there's a lot of new colors that are in the Apple Watch Series 6 now, with a new blue color, a gold color, a silvery gray called graphite, and a product red color. The gold and graphite are only available in the stainless steel, and then the blue and product red, of course, are in the aluminum models, just like the cheaper models. There's a new blood oxygen monitor, which works in just 15 seconds, according to Apple. It also tracks it in the background when you are sleeping with your Apple Watch on. That is a really cool feature. That's getting the Apple Watch to a very, very good. That's getting the Apple Watch to a very, very big health feature now, which is good. That is a very good thing, and I'm very happy for Apple for doing that. And honestly, the Apple Watch should be a really big health thing now. Especially because, going into the hospital is a little bit scarier now, stuff like that, because COVID and all that. But there's a new always-on display, so it gets 2 times brighter, because I guess the old one had a problem in the outdoors. It'd be hard to see, I guess. I don't know. I never used the always-on display because I have Series 3, so I don't know anybody that has a Series 5, so I never experienced that, so I have no idea. But apparently, there's an issue. There's an always-on altimeter. So the altimeter shows when the always-on display is during your workout. So during, say like a hike or something like that, your altimeter would show up always. When you look down your wrist and your always-on display would come on, your always-on display would be the altimeter to show how far or how high you are in your hike. There's a bunch of new watch faces. So there is Memoji watch faces, which is really weird. I don't know why you'd want your face on your wrist. That is weird, but whatever, they have it. There's some new chronograph watch faces, so they are based off of, Apple says they're based off of real racing watches. Okay, Apple. They probably are, but it's just like, doesn't really, whatever. It's a new chronograph. And there's other watch faces like that. Like there's a new large watch face, so just like the one that's always on, or like on the normal ones, but except you get 1 or 2 complications now, which is super duper cool. Anyway, moving on to the new bands. So if you look at this, if you look at my watch, right, this is the one with the buckle, okay? So it has the buckle right here, and this is actually the Nike version, but it's still the same idea. So that's the loop, right? So now they have a new solo loop, which has no buckle. It's just a solo loop, hence the name solo loop. So you just slide it on and off. It's just a stretchy rubber thing that slides on and off the wrist. It's just a stretchy, like this isn't stretchy, right? So hopefully it's gonna be more stretchy than that. And it's just kind of one size fits you. You get multiple sizes actually. It's interesting. I don't think I would like it because I feel like it would just get too small at the end of the day or something like that, and it'd be really big at the start of the day or something like that. I wouldn't really like it. That's why I like the buckle one. The buckle one is just, it's easy to do. I guess to slide it on your wrist would be really easy and stuff like that, but other than that, I don't really see the point in it. They have a braided one now though, which looks actually really nice. So that would be interesting, like for if you're those people that wear bracelets and stuff like that, like those woven bracelets and all that all the time, I think it really appeals to those kind of people, but not me. I like this, or I also I'd like also like a leather one or something like that for fancy events or something like that. But whatever. There's a new family setup now. I really 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 like this. This is really cool. So instead of getting your kid a iPhone, you can get them an Apple Watch. So it connects to your phone, the parent's phone, and you set up the whole entire Apple Watch, and you can track basically where they are from the Find My app. So you can actually set reminders for like when my kid's at school, when my kid is at practice, what's going on. You can also find them. It also is kind of cool because it gives them the capabilities to call, text, all that stuff, but just from your wrist, so you don't lose a really expensive phone. At least you shouldn't lose something on your wrist. That's a problematic child. But it's also kind of just a small little thing that it also does a lot more things in your phone. Like it does the health stuff and all that stuff. It tracks, so it gives the child a little bit more things to play with within the Apple Watch, because it's an Apple Watch. And you still get all the texting ability, and you get all the calling abilities and stuff like that. And it's really cool because the parent can actually change what is on the watch. So like one day you can say only grandma and only mom can call, or you can call from, or whatever. And then one day grandma can't get called because she's at work or something. I don't know, something like that. So you can limit the amount of contacts that you can have in the watch day to day. You can also have like a school time mode, which turns on Do Not Disturb and has like this really weird screen that will show right here, and it just shows like your name and time and stuff like that. It's kind of weird, but it's good for like homework and stuff like that. Especially the Do Not Disturb part. That part is good for the Do Not for That's not good for Do Not Disturb. The Do Not Disturb is good for homework and school and stuff like that, so you don't get notified and all that stuff. Really cool. They also have a new watch, a Watch SE, which is special edition, same as the iPhone SE and iPhone SE 2, that just got released. Well, no, not just got released. It came out a while ago, but it's basically, the cheaper phone. Again, it's going to be the cheaper Apple Watch. So, it has last generation's S5 chip. So, it's basically the opposite of the iPhone SE, whereas the iPhone SE has the new chip, old body. This has all of the new body, screen, all that stuff from the Series 6. Same sensors, except for the blood oxygen monitor. So it has all that stuff inside the watch, except it has the Series 5 chip, which doesn't bother anybody. Well, this shouldn't, because I'm still have the S3 chip because it's the Series 3, and an Apple Watch does not need that much performance, so it actually makes sense for Apple Watch to do it the opposite of the phone, whereas the phone, the body doesn't really matter as much as the processor, whereas watch is the other way around, right? So you're getting all the sensors, you're getting all that stuff. You're getting all the stuff that really matters. You're getting the bigger screen, you're getting all that stuff. So again, it's basically a Series 5 with some sensors and stuff from the Series 6, it's basically just a Series 5 with Series 6 stuff. No. Yes. No. Series 6 with Series 5 chip. Let's just call it that, okay? So, we're going to start the whole entire watch lineup pricing. So first we're going to go with the Series 6 at $500 Canadian, which is actually not a terrible price. That is, again, really expensive because it's an Apple Watch and it's brand new and it has blood oxygen monitoring and it's got all that stuff. So it is expensive, but it's again, this is all the aluminum model. This is all the GPS, no cellular. This is the base starting price of all of these models. The SE, which is going to be that new cheap one, right? Starts at $369, which is quite a bit cheaper than the Series 6 actually, for just a chip downgrade. So really excited for that actually. The SE is definitely a watch that I think appeals to a lot of people that want a new Apple Watch but can't really afford the $529 price tag for an Apple Watch Series 6, and they don't need the blood oxygen monitoring. SE is definitely a really, really good option for that. Um, but what's also a good option is they're still selling the Series 3, which is this one. So, I mean, that's also, that's probably, that in a cellular model is what I would get, like, was what you'd get for your kid for that family setup thing, right? Um, just a cheap little, it's $259, which is still a lot of money. I get that. But for an Apple Watch, it's really, really cheap. Mine was, this one was pretty much it was 290 something, or 310, something like that. So 259 is definitely a lower price tag. Again, these are all Canadian prices. So, and again, these are all GPS models. They're all aluminum models. They're all the base. If I'm not mistaken, the SE only comes in aluminum, same as the 3. So the 6 is the only one that you're going to get that stainless steel. You're going to get the big sapphire screen. All that expensive stuff is only going to be in the Series 6 anyways. So, yeah. We also have subscriptions now, because in the September event, there was surprisingly a lot of subscriptions announced. So, start off with Fitness Plus, which is basically like Apple TV's Plus, except for fitness. So it's actually more similar to Peloton, but Apple's version. It's going to be $9.99 per month. Of course, that's with family, so you get as 5 people. And it basically works with your watch. Your watch screen takes over, or so you have basically your workout on your iPad, your phone, or your Apple TV, and your watch shows up on the screen and with the workout that your trainer is presenting on the screen. So it's really, really integrated into the Apple ecosystem, and it is actually really, really smart for Apple to finally make this, because the Apple Watch is going so far in advanced right now. So it makes a lot of sense. And they also released Apple One, which is kind of a big name to kind of be like, we is Apple One, because it is. It has everything in one. The individual, which is one person, gives you music, Apple TV Plus, arcade, and 50 gigabytes of iCloud for only $14.95 a month. It is a month, but that one is okay. The family gives you Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, arcade, and then 200 gigabytes of iCloud storage, and that is also a family package, so it gives you 5 people can use that, and that's $19.95. Again, all of these subscriptions, in my opinion, that especially that Apple making, the family makes a lot of sense, because 3, 4, and 5 people, and then the price doesn't actually gain that much. It makes a lot of sense. And then lastly, you have the Premiere, which is honestly the one that makes the most sense to me, and I would get if I was if I had 4 or 5 people in my Apple family. It gives you everything from the family pack. So it gives you the Apple Music, it gives you Apple TV Plus, it gives you arcade. It also gives you News Plus, Fitness Plus, and then gives you 2 terabytes of iCloud storage. And then it's still a family pack, so it's up to 5 people for $29.95. So $29.95 a month. Think about that, and then split between 3, 4 to 5 people. So if you split that all between your 5 people, or even 4 people, 4 people would probably be the real, like, 4 people is good and 5 people is amazing. But even as low as 3 people would be fine. It's getting kind of cheap, and you're still getting a lot of things. Like Apple Music is something that you'd use every day. Apple TV Plus is getting really good. It's actually competing with Netflix now, so that's getting really good. Arcade is good for kids. Like, I mean, I would love to get arcade, because it's a lot of games that Apple is making, right? And it's a lot of games. News Plus is good for magazines and stuff like that. Fitness Plus is good if we all have Apple Watches. I mean, you could just do your workouts, especially at home now because of like COVID. You could just do your workouts at home. 2 terabytes of storage is like, my family already pays for that, so it's like it's so much more worth it. Same as music. My family pays for that. My family pays for Apple TV. My family pays for all that stuff. So you might as well just put it into one, and it's just one price. So that makes sense to me. Now we're gonna talk about iPads, because a lot of iPads got released too. So you have the new iPad 8th generation. So it's the exact same as the 7th generation, which actually got released last year, which is kind of funny that they're already releasing a 8th generation. Except it has a huge spec bump. It has A12 processor instead of the A10 processor, which is like, it's what my iPhone 11 has. The iPhone 11 has A13 processor, but they were basically the same processor. The A13 is literally an A12 processor, but just with better spec bumps and stuff like that. Anyway, the A12 processor is actually the same processor as what the old iPad Airs had, and what the current generation iPad Pro has an A12X Bionic. So the A12 processor is a really, really, really good processor, and especially that in a 10.2 inch little iPad that has Apple Pencil and is starting at $429 is like, that's cheaper than the new Apple Watch. That's for 32 gigabytes, which is kind of unusable on an iPad unless you're doing like games or something on it. But the 128 gigabyte one is $549, which is, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much the same exact price as an Apple Watch Series 6. So they are getting, that's cheap for an A12 processor and for a 10.2 inch display, and for pretty much a brand new iPad. That's really, 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 really good. This is the iPad that I really want, because it's 128 gigabytes. So the iPad that I'm using right now is 128 gigabytes, and I don't want to say I max it out, but I'm close. But I mean, 128 gigabytes you can use. That is the only problem with the iPad 8th generation, is it only comes in 32 gigabytes and 128 gigabytes. There's no 64 gigabyte, there's no 256 gigabyte, none of that. That is for the iPad Air and the iPad Pro, right? So I actually might consider this iPad over the iPad Air or the iPad Pro or any of them, just because of how cheap it is, and it still uses everything. Like, it still has the smart connector on the bottom, so you can use that Logitech Touch Pro with the trackpad. So you still have a trackpad. You still have a trackpad on an iPad. You still have your Apple Pencil on an iPad. I know it's the last generation Apple Pencils, but you still have an Apple Pencil. You still have an A12 processor. You still have a decently sized screen. It's 10.2 inches, so it's not small, but it's not huge either. So it's actually a good size. It's pretty much, it's close to the 11 inches of an iPad Pro that you would want anyways. But for like going to school or something, $549 plus the case and plus that and all that, but you can get this iPad for under $1,000. A full-fledged iPad for under $1,000 that's where it gets worth it, right? Especially for someone that's coming from a older iPad, like a 5th generation like I have, and then you just get the 8th gen, and then it's pretty much the exact same thing. It's just a little bit of a spec bump, a little bit of a screen bump, and you get all that functionality of the smart connector and the Apple Pencil. But again, I'm making a video about that, why I would like the Apple iPad 8, and be sure to watch that video. But there's also a new iPad Air. So it has white, space gray, rose gold, and a new green and blue, which again, all pictures will be shown here as I'm saying them. So it has a full screen, just like last generation's iPad Pro 11-inch display. Just like an iPad Pro. So it has actually last generation. It looks like last generation's iPad Pro. It really does. It actually looks identical to the last generation iPad Pro, which is really good. That is useful, and again, pictures will be shown. They're saying it's 10.2 inch display, which is funny because 10.9 inch is and 11. I think it's a 10.2. Sorry, 10.9 inches, 10.9 inch display, and 10.9 inches and 11 inches. Those seem like the same. I wonder if it's because they have an iPad Air and they don't want it to be the same as the iPad Pro. Probably. It's kind of funny how Apple did that. They were like, no. The iPad Air is so much cheaper. We can't have it the same size as the iPad Pro. But it is. It's probably the same size, actually, because it's the same display. So, good job, Apple, for catching yourself on that one. It has not Face ID, which helps with the price, but doesn't have Face ID. Instead, it has Touch ID inside the power button, which is so cool. all iPads should have that. All iPhones should have that. Because right now with the mask and all that, the Face ID doesn't work very well, so Touch ID on the power button would be perfect, and it's definitely what they need to do. But, you know, they won't. Well, no, they will. They will, just not like generations. But whatever. Apple will be Apple. It has an A14 Bionic chip, which is from no new iPhone, iPad, or anything. It's just brand new, except for now being later. I know that it's in the iPhone 12, so that kind of defeats the purpose of this one. But whatever. For the sake of this video, we're gonna say that it's new. Okay. And it has USB-C. Finally, so